Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to share with you guys 5 habits / things that I am personally learning in my life that I really feel like would be beneficial for pretty much anybody in this new year, this new decade. Just things that are beneficial to life and help us get where we need to go and pretty much just be better people in general. I wanted to quickly thank everyone who watched my last / first video ever. You guys were so kind to me, and it was something that was truly stepping outside of my comfort zone, as is this. And you guys were just so kind and so supportive. And so, I mean, a lot of you were friends and family, but thank you still for, yeah, just being there and being interested in what I have to say. So, without further ado, I am going to get right into this list. So I quickly wanted to touch on the purpose of habits because I think that's really important to understand just in general, because when we think of the new year, we think of resolutions, we think of all the things that we really want to get done, really need to get done, and it can be overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me personally. I have a really hard time with resolutions, and actually I read this online, so I don't know how accurate it is, but I heard that 80% of people don't even make it through their resolutions past February. And that makes me have a really hard time with resolutions, knowing that, and I know that's been true for me in the past. And so I actually really like the idea of intentions more, and with that being habits, because I really feel like habits can lift us up to a higher standard. And especially as Christians, we are called out of laziness and out of complacency. And I just really feel like habits are a really good way to like physically work toward your full potential and who you're supposed to be. So for the first habit, I think we all just need to get more sleep. Now, I think we've pretty much all heard that we need more than 7 hours of sleep to be a fully functioning adult, and I'm pretty sure most of us have ignored that advice. I know I definitely have, especially going through school. I mean, it's kind of like a thing. You just don't sleep, especially when you've got tests and things going on. It's just like part of our culture to be sleep deprived, I guess. And you probably also know that if you are lacking sleep, you tend to be more depressed, you tend to be more anxious, you're at risk for more serious diseases. And so sleep is really important, and it's really not that hard to get 7 or more hours of sleep. It's really not that hard to get 7 hours of sleep. So personally, since I'm pregnant, it was really easy for me in some ways to get a lot of sleep, especially in the first trimester. I was very tired all the time anyway, and other than waking up 100 times and having weird dreams and all that, I definitely slept more than 7 hours, and I definitely felt the difference as opposed to when I wasn't. Personally, I really feel like this sleep deprivation, like this acceptance in our society, is fueled by this hustle culture that we have built for ourselves. And basically what I mean is people who are all about, you know, reaching your goals, and their intentions, I really feel like, can be positive, like, you know, do what you need to do to get where you need to be, but you don't need sleep, you don't need, you know, good health. You'll sacrifice pretty much everything for this idea of success. And I think this culture has really just accepted that we aren't gonna sleep anymore. Like, in order to be successful, you just don't sleep very much. And I personally reject that. I think, you know, the more we sleep, the better our memory is, the better we can communicate with other human beings, and so many other things that contribute to reaching success just happen better when you're fully rested. Habit number 2 is to slow down. And this kind of goes along with that whole hustle culture thing, where we just have accepted that we are always at a fast pace, and if you're not, you're failing, and this is the way that we have to live to survive. And that's totally false. and I've been learning this more recently, and so that's not to say I haven't participated in this culture. I definitely have. I think in so many ways, school being a big part of it, you learn to forego your own personal needs for success, including being intentional in life. So to me, slowing down means to be purposeful and deliberate in everything that we do, to be intentional with the people in our lives and the events that we're going to, and just taking time to really soak in all of these moments that we have as human beings, because we're never going to get those moments back, probably. I mean, it also means that we're not sitting around waiting for the next exciting thing to happen. I think we get sucked into that so often. You know, you have these seasons where you're working so hard, and that's great. You reach a goal, and then it's like you're happy, and then you're like, okay, what's next? Like, and that is so dangerous. That's a really dangerous place to be as a human being, because, you know, before you know it, you're gonna be 65 and you can't retire because you're just looking for the next exciting thing, and retirement is not that exciting. It doesn't fit in to that next thing. So slowing down is a lot of things. Just look people in the eye when they're talking to you. Listen to what they're saying, take pictures for memories and not just Instagram. I am definitely guilty of this, but just take pictures just to take pictures, and because you want to remember a certain moment. It doesn't have to be perfectly composed. You don't even have to edit it. Just take pictures and slow down and enjoy the moment. Moving on to number 3, which is to compliment your body. Relating it back to who I am and what I'm going through right now. I am a woman and I am pregnant. And I think one of the first things I started to struggle with was what my body was starting to look like. And especially since in the first trimester, I was not feeling well enough to exercise. I think whereas before, if I felt like I didn't really like what I saw in the mirror, I could, you know, take steps to do something about it, but I couldn't really do that in the first trimester of my pregnancy. And so I just really struggled a lot. Like, I would be so disappointed when I looked in the mirror, and especially like when you first find out you're pregnant. I mean, you don't look pregnant, you just look bloated, and you just feel like kind of icky, at least in my experience. I just kind of felt like bloated and just not feeling great about what I looked like. So whether you're pregnant or not, one habit that I personally am trying to incorporate into my life is to, when I look in the mirror, to think positive thoughts about myself and to say positive things out loud to myself. So looking at myself and saying things like, you're doing a good job, or your body is creating a human and that's amazing. That's just been really important for me. So number 4, just moving right along, is to read more books. Now, this is something that I have struggled with probably since middle school. Like, let's be real, school made it very hard for me to read for pleasure. I just was so caught up in doing so well in school, in the textbooks, that I never really felt like I had the time or the energy to like invest in an actual book. And I still kind of get caught in that, like, I just don't have time, when in reality I do. And it just baffles me. I don't know, I feel like I've tried year after year, and maybe this is more of a resolution, but I think it's also something that can be a habit, and so I want to work on it. And I plan on doing a video about books that I want to read for 2020, and so I'll share that video, and then hopefully I succeed in reading more and I'm able to share my thoughts even later down the line. Reading more books is just a big deal. It's a good way to gain more perspective. It's also a good way to practice intentionality, and especially for me right now, it's a really good way to learn some parenting. Like, it's kind of a big thing coming up, and books are such a good way to just see what other people think, take all of those thoughts and kind of boil them down through trial and error into what you make your own, and So yeah, reading more books is a big deal, and I'll make another video about that. So the fifth and last habit is learn how to plan. And I laugh because this is another one of the things that I have struggled with the most in the past. I don't even know what to say. Like, there's no excuse. I've bought so many planners over the years and just never used them. It's so embarrassing how much money I've probably spent on planners. I think for a lot of us, there needs to be like a learning process in planning. I don't think I was really sure how to plan other than just, I mean, in school you have so many assignments that you need to remember specific names of, and so that was easier for me, was writing down the assignment name, what I need to do, and that was it. But I have found that as an adult, there are things that I will forget simply because I haven't written them down. And so this is something that I feel like I have worked on a little bit and am continuing to work on. But yeah, learning how to plan is kind of a big deal and will help you just keep life organized. And even just in all these other habits, if you are planning out your time wisely and you're using a planner or whatever it is, your computer, whatever it is that you plan on, it just gives us a foundation and some concrete steps that we can take every single day to do better. So I hope that all of these things have just at least brought a thought to your mind of maybe some habits that you want to incorporate in your life. Feel free to share one thing down in the comments, one thing that you are trying to do this year or have been trying to do recently to add into your life and to make it more fulfilling. I don't know how to end a video, so I'm done. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend. I guess I don't know when this video is gonna go up, but I will see you in the next one.